Okay, so now we are on live, so now it's recording. Okay, so I'm Melissa Cordier.
My name's Vanessa Martin.
I'm Madison Adams.
Okay, so we can get started. Does someone want to read the questions, or do you want me to? Or
Yep. So the first question says, against same-sex marriage, what principles of effective speaking did you see in his speech? Same-sex marriage. So, to tell you the truth, I guess this kind of answers all the questions for the first video, so maybe I shouldn't say anything, but I didn't really like his speech. I mean, I know it was against and everything, but it was really hard for me to pay attention to. He kind of had a harsh voice to it and stuff. But yeah, I don't know. That was just kind of my thought.
no, I actually thought the same thing. I was like, it was kind of interesting watching it because I agree with what he's
Yeah,
saying,
same
but
here.
I was like, that was kind of a weird approach to do it.
Yeah,
And so I mean, I guess an effective speaking he brought into his speech. I mean, he was very passionate
that is
about
definitely
it, but I just felt, I don't know, all of it came from the religion background. Like, I don't know, he didn't share really anything except the scripture and talked about how God wouldn't like it. And I don't know, I feel like that doesn't always work with people.
yeah.
And so yeah, I had a problem with it too. I was like, this one's kind of weird, but yeah, so I agree with you.
Yeah, there's no factual basis whatsoever. And so if there are people, and I'm sure there were that were there that didn't believe in God, then they totally would just shut him out right away. Whereas if he had had factual evidence as well as the religion and it focused more on the factual, like, as far as how it affects society, something that everyone can relate to, I'm sure it would have been a lot better.
Yeah,
Oh yeah, for sure.
I definitely agree with that.
Yeah, I feel like that's like the first two questions. I don't
Yeah,
know.
so I felt
Yeah.
kind of bad saying anything because I was like, oh, that kind of answers like all the questions for like the first
Everything.
video. But
I guess there's that one, like, if you were on the fence, like, I don't know, if I was on the fence, I guess, like, I feel like his speech wouldn't have affected me.
I 100% agree with that. If I was on the fence, I'd be like, no, like, I don't know, I wasn't really paying attention to what he was saying, and yeah, he was passionate about, like you mentioned, but it wouldn't persuade me. I wouldn't be like, oh, okay, now I'm definitely against same-sex marriage. I was just
Right.
still kind of on the fence with it.
Yeah. No, I totally agree.
If I was on the fence between the two, the other one would have swayed me, and it would have swayed me to be
Yeah.
for it rather than against it. But I totally am
Right.
against it. Just between the two speakers, if I was on the fence, I would have chosen that guy.
Yeah. No,
Mm-hmm.
for sure. Is there another question for that one?
For that one, it says, what was the basis and or the premises for his stance?
Okay.
Religion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then it says, if you were on the fence when it comes to the same-sex marriage, how would you feel after listening to his speech? And the last question is, what was less effective about his speech? I think one thing that was definitely less effective is that he didn't take like the me approach really. He didn't give like a background story about him, and I felt like the other guy really did that. He really captured me and drew me into his story. Right
Hmm.
away, I was like, oh, what is he saying? Like I immediately just started focusing on what he was saying. But this first guy, not so much.
Yeah. I would have to agree. I feel like the first guy, he was kind of boring.
Yeah.
I was kind of bored. I was like, okay, I don't know. I don't know. Like, I believed it. Like, I believe what he's saying.
Uh
But I
huh.
was like, there was no, like, meat to it. Like, it was just him saying things. I
Yeah.
was like, okay. So, yeah, I would have to agree with that, too.
Yeah, I think he had no emotional appeal, whereas the other guy did, and he was kind of basically just said the same thing the whole time. You could sum up his argument in one sentence, like God says it's wrong. Like that's basically he just kept repeating himself
Yeah.
and had nothing else to that.
Yeah, no, I would have to agree.
I agree.
All right. Next one.
So the next one, it says, For same-sex marriage, what principles of effective speaking did you? Oh, where did it go? Lost my place. Are you still there?
Yeah.
Okay. It says, where did it go? Okay, it says for the same-sex marriage, what principles of effective speaking did you see in his speech? For the same-sex video, I feel like he hit all 3 points. He did the story of self. He explained like he was born and how it happened with his parents and stuff. The story of us and how does his parents being gay impact us? And then he said the story of now, which was take action and don't vote for it.
Yeah. I thought, yeah, exactly. I don't know what else to say that. Like, I thought he did a really good job just saying all those points, and so it made his speech interesting. It made me, like what you said, it, like, drew you in. And not that I believe, like, I don't agree, but, like, I was way into it. Like, I was like, oh, okay. Like,
Yeah.
so, yeah, he totally, I don't know, when people tell their story, like, their life stories, I don't know, I feel like it affects people, and you kind of can feel something, and that's what I got. So that's what
Yeah,
I like.
I feel like it makes them more relatable. I can put myself in their shoes, not just some random person that's like telling me to do something. It's more like, oh yeah, I see where you're coming from. I can understand that better. I don't know.
I agree.
Terry, can you hear us?
This is Terry's wife. He's coming. Yeah, I got him hooked up, connected finally. So
Awesome.
he's on his way.
Perfect.
All right, here he is.
Okay.
The problem is I'm an idiot. That's it.
No.
You're fine.
Well, I could hear the phone was ringing. It said it was trying to connect at about 7 minutes to 7, and it was Melissa, I think. And every button I pushed kept saying you're not connected to the internet. Again, I can barely even hear you, so I'm going to have to put this to my ear to be able to hear you. Can you hear me okay?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, we can hear you great.
Oh, wow. We've tried every button on my phone, too, and we can't get you on my computer. So, you know what? Here's what we'll do. I'll have a young person with me next week, and I'll lead the discussion, and I'll take all the notes. In the meantime, I'm going to have to put this to my ear and try to hear you, and then I'll try not to add too much and be a little more quiet than usual.
No, you're
Okay?
fine.
Totally fine. Don't worry about it.
Oh, there you go. I can hear you up at the top of my phone. Okay.
Okay, Terry, we're talking about this second video about the guy that talked about same-sex marriage.
Okay.
Okay, so we're just talking about what we thought was effective in his speech. Do you have anything?
No, not at the moment here. What did you come up with that was effective?
Well, sorry.
No, go for it, Vanessa.
We talked about how he used the story of self. He brought himself into the story and made it more applicable to us. He also talked about the story of us, or did I just say that? Oh, the story of self, the story of us, and how his parents are gay and how does that impact us. He said it doesn't impact us in any way possible. And then he talked about how the story of now, actually, how did he talk about the story of now? I guess maybe I missed that part. Did he even really bring that in? I mean, he should have.
I'm trying to remember.
I don't think he did so much, but I'm going to try and pull up the transcript. Because I know there was a transcript.
Yeah, I don't remember too much about that last part either, about the story of now. So I'm curious on the transcript. I saw it a couple nights ago, and I've watched a few other videos since then.
Uh-huh. Well, let's see. Let me see if there's any other questions within that one. It says, oh, if you were on the fence when it comes to same-sex marriage, how would you feel after listening to the speech? After listening to the speech, if I was honestly on the fence and I was still like wasn't sure which way I'd go, I'd honestly definitely go more towards same-sex marriage just by listening to his speech. I thought he was really persuasive. It made me feel like I could be put into his shoes, and he wasn't just some random person talking about some uh, something that impacted him. More like I like how it just seemed like to impact everyone. So if I was on the fence, which I'm not, but if I was, I would have gone with him rather than the first guy.
Yeah, I completely agree. He just,
Yeah, that makes it hard because as a member of the church, we actually pretty much never on any fence. So,
right.
but yeah, you
Yeah.
could certainly see that if you were someone who wasn't a member of the church, etc. Okay, well, once again, very persuasive, huh? I
Yeah.
think that's how Cora always did it.
I think, did you guys watch the Marcia Barlow video where
Yeah.
I think that's why it's so important that she brought up that point of how we should use facts rather than religion, and how she said that she tries to avoid that. She doesn't deny her religion, and when people ask her about it, then she's not like, oh, she doesn't try and push it aside, but she doesn't purposely bring that up. She brings up facts and stuff, and she goes off of that first, and she argues from a factual standpoint because that does affect everyone, and that is more persuasive to the general population.
Yeah.
Wasn't that a tremendous video? And by the way, yeah, the world, even in the last 10 years, I would tell you, doesn't have any interest in hearing about religion.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so that's why it's so important not to bring it up necessarily. That was a tremendous video. I'm
It
talking
was.
too much. Quiet. Here we
No,
go.
you're good.
So I pulled up the transcript, and he doesn't really talk about that much, but he does a really good job with talking about the story himself and
Yeah.
other stuff.
I think that was like really his because it says what's the basis and or the premise of his stand. I feel like that's what he taught. He like focused on was his life story basically, and how like it didn't affect him. So
Yeah.
it like drew people in. Like I don't know. I was watching the people like behind him, and they were like, "Oh my gosh!" Like,
Yeah.
and they were like all into it. I was like, "Okay." He like totally drew everyone in. Like, so
Yeah.
I thought that was actually interesting.
And he brought up like
Me too.
accomplishments. Like, I'm a business owner. I'm an Eagle Scout. He brought up,
Uh-huh.
oh, I'm a great citizen, and so people were like, oh yeah, that, he is, and that's cool, and we like this guy. He's personable. He's
Yeah.
a good person. We like him, and so we like the idea of same-sex marriage because that's how he was
Right.
raised. And
Yeah.
Great point.
Okay. I think there's just one more question, right?
It says, what was less effective about his speech?
That was the fact that he didn't use any real facts or anything to back it up. No empirical data necessarily, I thought, was what made it weak.
Yeah. I didn't even think about that. I was like so focused that it was like he like I don't know, the story was so interesting to me.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh yeah, he didn't, did he?
Yeah.
So yeah, that's
he didn't even really talk about homosexuals themselves or like other people who are in the same situation. It was all about him. He didn't focus on his two moms and how they felt and everything. It was all about him, and so
Yeah.
that was most effective.
definitely.
So the next question says, what principles of the effective writing did you see in his article? Oh, and this talks about the Matt Walsh article.
So is that the one that he was like against it, right? Too.
Yes, I believe so.
Okay.
Let me pull that up.
He's very passionate about what he wrote.
Yeah.
That's something I thought was effective. But, I'm trying to remember.
Yeah, I know. Same here. I'm like pulling up the article right now.
Terry, did you read that article?
I don't remember reading the article, but what was the gist of it? Because I'm sitting here going, I don't remember that article.
It was his whole article was about he was against gay marriage, basically.
Yep. In fact, I don't remember reading that one
Yeah,
because
it
I was
was
sitting there
like
thinking I want to hear the other argument, which is one of the things I loved about her talk, and was the importance of knowing the other information, what the other side's saying, and presenting that first is completely disarming. But yeah, I that was weird. I was sitting there like, I don't remember seeing it. But I've got 3 different classes and everything else in the world, probably like you do, going on. And I'm sitting there going, okay, which one? I'm actually looking through my notes and going, okay, I usually make notes about the different things. I'm going, I don't
yeah.
see anything on that. So
No,
I don't think I
that's okay. Yeah, it was just him. Really, he was just like talking about how he's really against it, and he talked about how it's supposed to be between a man and woman. Like, there's a couple points he brought up.
One thing that I like that he brought up is he talked about how the man and the woman have a special relationship that no other relationship has, and that's the relationship of being able to form a family. And I mean, that's like one of the biggest points right there. Man and woman are able to have children, and that's like the foundation of a family. And like a woman and a woman can't have a child like without the use of a man, or a man and a man can't have a child without the use of a woman, and you just can't have that without a man and a woman. Even if gay marriage happens, like there's still a man and a woman that have to be involved to be able to have a child, and that's like the foundation of the family. And so he brought that up, and that's like, boom, that's one of the main points that a lot of people ignore or try and downplay in the argument for it. Like,
Yeah, definitely.
Definitely agree.
I just thought of an interesting point, by the way. You know what? If I was trying to present the other side of that, just on a very humorous note, because I actually like that, and she said that if you are funny, go ahead and be funny when you're presenting something, but it actually, and you may not experience this, is anybody in the group married besides me?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, well then you kind of maybe you do know, but and it just came completely off the wall. So I just want you to laugh at this, but it's a lot easier having a male roommate for a guy. Maybe it is for girls with girl roommates, but than necessarily trying to figure out how to get along as a man and woman when you get married. Sometimes, anybody chuckling at that? I mean, there's nothing to it. You're just a roommate. Let's go get something to eat. Da da da. Instead of actual marriage and kids and everything else. So I'm just saying it for a humorous note. It's kind of fun. My wife is my best friend, and she's right over there threatening me that she said I am your best friend. So no, she's wonderful. She's teasing me. I just thought that was, that thought just popped in my mind. You know what? Marriages can be kind of tough sometimes, and but I've been blessed. I haven't had that situation. It's always been real easy.
Yeah.
My divorce, I take it back, huh? My wife's kind of looking at me like, really? My second wife, very easy. Anyway.
Thanks for sharing that, Terry. That was actually pretty funny.
I just wanted to get some chuckles out of it. Sorry about that. Okay.
No, you're good. That was pretty funny. So the next question says, what was the basis and or the premises of his stance? And if you're on the fence when it comes to same-sex marriage, how would you feel after reading this article?
I feel like that one was a lot better than the first video.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
To it.
Yeah.
Is that because it's our side? So we already agree with them coming right out of the gate? Is that the reason why, or did he just do a much better job? What do you think?
I think he just did a much better job because the first guy, I mean, he's our side too. He was saying that, God has established marriage between man and woman, but because that's all that he said, it wasn't effective. And so if you were on the fence, then you would just totally discount that, unless you were super religious fanatic, or whatever. But as far as the general citizen, I feel like they would just dismiss that right off the bat because that's all that it was. But the second guy, in the article, he actually had some factual basis as well. Not a whole lot, but more than just God has deemed it between man and woman.
Yeah.
Extremely important to add the factual stuff. Again, the empirical data. That's not the most interesting, but you remember that the woman that, yeah, gosh, I should be able, I look at my notes, but in her great talk, that 59-minute or whatever thing it was, or 49 minutes, she said, that's the one that's important to me. And, instead of just the stories. But the stories is what catches you, so.
Yeah.
But the thing about stories is they don't relate to everybody. They do draw a lot of people in, but facts, you can't argue with facts, and facts relate to everybody. Everybody's going to believe the facts.
Nice one. Yeah.
No, I would have to agree with Madison. I think he did a lot better job than the first. I keep comparing him to the first guy, but I don't know. He just did a better job. He had more content to it. It was more just. It wasn't all about he pulled different things, and he had so many facts in there, and so I would have to agree with Madison. It just was better.
I definitely agree with that. The first guy, when he talked about going against same-sex marriage, he only talked about God, and it's between a man and a woman. But this second guy, Matt, he actually talked about God, but he also talked about the Supreme Court. And he also brought other references in Proposition 8. What else? He brought in a lot of different things, which I definitely helped his case a lot, I think.
Yeah.
You can't really argue. Oh.
No, go ahead.
Oh, I was going to say you can't really argue with the facts. I mean, you can, but the facts are the facts. They're not going to be oh, well, someone's opinion, so.
Just go back to week 1 or 2. Remember that you can have your own opinions, but you can't have your own facts. And I love just saying it. I really hope I'm not sounding like I'm Mr. like I know all this stuff or whatever. But in a court of law, nobody cares what the hearsay is or what the opinions are. There isn't one person. I mean, they'll try to throw that at a jury, but what ultimately happens is the police officer says, "This is what happened. These are the facts," and you can't argue with the facts because there's proof. So You're exactly right. I just think that's just one other way to illustrate it so you can see it. But in real life, when it's life and death or jail time or anything like that, nobody's sitting there caring what somebody's opinion about things is. They're going, what are the facts? And when you go, have any of you ever been on a jury?
No.
Okay. Well, normally cops never get on a jury, but I actually got put on a jury, and it was amazing because when it was time to make a decision, it was amazing that people were going, yeah, but the story they told about this, and this one doctor, he told a story about that, and they were ready to award this tremendous amount of money to somebody that was actually just a crook and was trying to get the money. And I went, wait, okay, I said I'd keep quiet, not be leading this, but I want to let's look at the facts of the case. And we put it on the whiteboard, and as we put all the facts down, they went, holy cow. None of that makes any sense. You know what? And they awarded this guy $500 instead of $580,000 or something. It was hysterical. So I was glad I stuck my nose in and said, no, go back to the facts. Okay, I got off on a side tangent. Sorry about that.
No, you're good. So that
Can't make up the facts.
Yeah. So that was pretty much all the questions. It says, do you guys still have any questions? If so, we can answer them.
Yeah. Does anyone?
Yeah, I don't have any other questions. I think they all pretty much.
Yeah. Did anyone think of anything less effective about his article?
He didn't really have the personal application. So if he had had a story with all the facts, then it would have been dynamite. It would have been great. But
yeah, that's true. Yeah, he didn't have a story. And I think even when it comes to on the fence, I think his article was really good. So I think it would have just made me kind of think about it, what he was trying to say or what he was trying to persuade me to believe, I guess. I don't
Yeah.
know.
I think if I was on the fence, I still would have been swayed by his article, but it just would have been made stronger by the personal story.
Mhm. Definitely.
Okay, so
Cool.
should we just do a summarize?
Yeah.
Hey, and
Okay.
just before you do that, can I ask a quick question? Are you all on your computers and you
Yeah.
can see each other? Okay,
Yeah.
again, this technology, my wife's usually pretty good too, but even my son's going, Dad, I can't seem to pull it up on the computer. But I will get somebody and start like at a quarter till next week. Is it going to be at 7 o'clock again next week? My time? What time is it your time there?
It's 8:30 here.
Wow, okay. All right, well, anyway, I will, because part of the problem is I can't tell if I'm cutting people off or not. I can't see you, and so I don't know what's happening with that. So I apologize. And
So,
anyway, we'll work on that.
You're fine.
Okay,
okay.
but I'll try to be better with it. Sorry. Go ahead.
Okay, so we first talked about the first speech, and we just honestly we thought he didn't. All he had was religion, and it didn't really appeal to anyone. Like it would appeal to someone, but it didn't have a lot of content, I guess. And we said if we were on the fence, we probably wouldn't have even cared. To be
Yeah.
honest, we were like, well, oh well. And he just didn't have any personal experiences. Like he just kind of went off the religion. And then the second one, he was actually, he had. I think we all liked him because his story, like he kind of pulled us in, and we were kind of like thinking about it, and so his was just more interesting to listen to. But he didn't have any facts either. But it was better than the first one just because he seemed just more personable almost, I guess. And then
Was he personable because we agreed with him, or
no,
was he? Did he really appear personable to you?
no, that was the guy that we didn't agree with.
Okay. Oh, I see. Gotcha. Bad. See? Okay.
Okay. And then Matt Walsh, we said his article was good. He had lots of different, I guess,
That's right.
topics. I don't know, or
Yeah.
I don't know, different facts.
Different
I guess.
resources.
Yeah. So he didn't just talk about one single thing. So yeah, we just felt like he maybe could have added a personal story or something that could have drawn more people in. And yeah, so that was what we thought was less effective. And if we were on the fence, we probably would have leaned towards it a little bit. I don't think we have any questions. Do we?
No, I think we're good. Yeah.
Okay, so let me stop it. I'm gonna stop.